Hello. All right, how's everyone doing out there in cryptocurrency land? Setting up for an extreme stream. Let's get this going. Sorry, you know how I do. Just still setting up, everyone. All right, JBL, what's up, buddy? Dill Whip Whip. Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing, Francesco? Hello. Lucid's here, but we'll be listening. That's fine. That's allowed. That's part of the rules. That's allowed. All right. Phil, thank you. Yes, guys, sorry it's been way too long. I've been extraordinarily busy. I'm going to have some more time for crypto coming up in the future. I'll have a lot of spare time during business hours. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of fun. Some interesting projects coming up in the near future. Next coming months for cryptos. We're going to do chat rooms. We're going to do training. We're going to do courses. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff going on. Dude, WTF is this market? Well, Mars, this is the market where you get rich or make a little more money. You really can't get rich unless you have a ton of money, but yeah, I mean, Bitcoin 20,000. We got Ethereum up here at 624. We have Litecoin at 366, still setting up to go higher. We have Coinigy, which for some reason doesn't like to maintain my settings across multiple charts. There we go. So now you can see the volume nice and pretty. Is it okay to FOMO into XRP right now? Let's take a look at XRP. Let's dive down to the 15-minute. Dive down to the 1 minute. Seems like you have to trade cryptos on 1 minute charts these days. They're moving so quick. They're just moving so fast. It's a little high to FOMO out on it. I mean, if you're going to FOMO, it's not really that high. You can FOMO a lot higher from here, but it does look good. So this is the overall trend line. So this is just what looks to be the first pullback. There's probably a lot more to come in Ripple. The way things are going, this thing's probably going to head towards $1. Just the way things are going. I mean, Litecoin, come on. My original buy in Litecoin was $108. It's at $366, and it's not done. So, you know, my original buy on Ethereum was $308. There's that $08 thing going on. Yeah. So, Diogo, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? So yeah, and it's really interesting because Bitcoin's looking really good here. Litecoin's looking really good here. Ethereum's looking really good here. Although I don't think we're going to have market correlation again. We did see earlier when Bitcoin had kind of a big pump right here when all this volume was coming into Bitcoin. You did see Ethereum have this pullback and Litecoin had the same pullback at about the same time. So you do have to still be careful. You do still have the inverse correlation between Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and pretty much all altcoins generally. So I'm just checking on Stratus, IOTA, NEM. Let's take a look. So first of all, NEM. I never recommend NEM. If you've been a fan of this channel for any length of time, you know how I feel about NEM. Yeah, big 300% pump and then just a dump. So NEM is kind of a joke coin in my opinion. If you actually look at some of the older statements on NEM, it's was meant to be a joke. So we will have to wait and see. But I'm not a fan of NEM. I will always say no to NEM. You know, unless it changes my mind. If this thing bottoms out here and puts in some flat action, then maybe a nice little healthy consolidation base, maybe I'll change my mind. But yeah, let's look at the daily chart on NEM, and this looks really good. But I mean, come on, it's pulled all the way back. It's pulled back from, you know, 14,000 all the way back down to 1,000. That's not healthy action. Stratus, the coin that will not die. Not that it needs to. Stratus sitting up here in or towards all-time highs. Looks like we're towards all-time highs. Did poke up, came all the way back down into this larger base right here. So that's good. That's actually pretty good. I don't like the fact that it poked out and came back, but I do like the fact it's consolidating a little bit. Maybe in some more time it'll have another breakout kind of over this 12 level. We'll just have to wait and see there. All right, IOTA. Let's take a look at IOTA. So IOTA had the news article a couple of days ago or a week ago or so that really caused this huge parabolic run in IOTA about the fact that they had so many partners they were working with their IoT technology. And then today an article came out stating that that was actually incorrect, that Microsoft is not an actual partner, but IOTA is a client of Microsoft. So while technically they are building out their infrastructure, they are going ahead and building out that whole IoT ecosystem, it's not as integrated with Microsoft as some would have liked. So that caused a pullback just prior to this breakout up here. And although even though on that news it's still holding up here pretty good, so I'm not too mad at IOTA right here. Not mad at all. All right, someone mentioned XLM. Let's take a look at XLM. XLM looks like you got kind of a weird little inverted head and shoulders here. Weird little inverted head and shoulders. Kind of curling up, curling up. It's trying to do something here. Good volume right there on the 15-minute. Yeah, really good volume here on the 15-minute. With this kind of volume, I would like it to see some better action. Just like over here, you see this little volume pop, and then it didn't really do anything. It just curled inwards. This could do the same thing. Could just start this curling action. But we do have a series of higher lows in effect. And if this were to blow, there's a good possibility that it could have a pretty good run here. So if you do take this as a... Why did the RSI just pop up out of the blue? If you do take this as an inverted head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, or, probably this would be the right shoulder in my opinion. And then you can probably infer your target right up towards all-time highs again. Right up towards all-time highs. So if that works out, not saying that it does, could be good for a little run. That's going to be what, a 33% move or so, about a 30% move. Not bad. Not bad. Let's do Monaco. Someone's talking about Monaco, Civic. Let's look at Civic. Anything for JBL. All right. Kind of a weird W pattern here going on. Let's zoom out to the 4-hour, get a broader term perspective. Oh, I'm kind of liking this. Kind of liking this. Kind of liking this. Double clicking will. Okay, so yeah, kind of liking this action here. Not too bad. Looks like we have kind of this big rounded cup happening right here. If we're gonna line up these kind of tops, we're just gonna. So it's just starting to go to the upswing. Okay. Just starting to go to the upswing, and if you take this back towards all-time highs from where we're at currently, you're going to get, well, nothing if you don't click the right thing. You're going to get, that's about an 85% gain going to all-time highs there, which I'm not mad on Civic. I can't say it's going to go there immediately, but you never know, it may. Speaking of which, this is a really nice cup with handle. You guys talk about chart patterns, talk about cup with handles. That's a really nice cup with a handle right there. Look at that beauty. Bam, cup with a handle. It's Chart School 101 here, guys. Chart School. All right, so yeah, very good cup with handle on Civic. That was your buy point. Oh, Eve, you can't log into Bittrex? Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Everyone's having that problem. That sucks. That really sucks. I'm sorry for those of you guys that they can't get into Bittrex. I don't know how they can do that to their customers. I'm just so disappointed in them. I have all my money in the GDAX, not specifically due to that issue, but that is a reason to keep me out of Bittrex. Even though they do have pretty much most of the coins in the market, you can go to Binance if you want to. Their platform's not the most stable platform. I've been locked out of that thing plenty of times just due to their technological issues, not due to any kind of account issues. But yeah, sorry about that, everyone. That I don't really have any in towards Bittrex, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would love to help you guys out. I really don't. I've tried to put tickets into their system. not their system, but into their Slack chat room, and they just pretty much ignore me. Maybe I'll try again after the video, so maybe I'll give it a shot. But yeah, so Civic here, really good. This is a good place to accumulate something like Civic. What's up, Ian? It's a really good place to accumulate something like Civic. You have these nice bottoms here at this 25 level. Looks like it's up at 35, so not too bad. Your risk to the downside is still quite a bit, about a 30% downside risk there. But if it gets down towards 25, could be a good place to hold a bag down there. Okay. What else we got? SWT, I don't know what that is. I guess we're about to find out. Swarm City Token. And against Bitcoin, everything looks like garbage. Don't really have good volume here on the right side. You have a couple good pops. Looks like pops may continue. No real big runs here as of yet, though. No real big runs here. Yeah, it's hard for me to read the Bitcoin chart sometimes, because when Bitcoin makes huge runs, then everything, all these charts just look like garbage, and you just kind of have to, you know, so you have a high here that was tested and failed, and now you have a lower high here. Overall, not looking super good. Overall, not looking super good. Let's take a look here. What else we got? BQX. Yeah, it must be a Binance coin. Neo. I did not do Neo yet. I was looking at Neo earlier with Node, actually. He was over here. We were going to do a live stream with Node. Sorry, we kind of ran out of time. Neo dollar. Let's take a look. So one thing with Neo that's interesting here. One thing that's interesting here is that Neo has a set of higher bases, okay? Neo has a set of higher bases, and eventually this is going to lead into kind of a pressure point up here towards the $50 level, and then it's going to probably pop. So while Neo probably isn't going to pop today, probably won't pop tomorrow, at some point it will. At some point it will. If you're a bag holder in Neo, that's fine. You just have to make sure that's part of your strategy and you're comfortable holding said bag. But you know, if you want to buy, you do have kind of a trend line right here, but we've had a couple trend lines on Neo that really haven't worked out too well. We had this one for a little bit that was broken here, and then we had this one for a little bit that was finally broken here to the upside, and then this line kind of became support, and now this line is resistance. So you're living in channel after channel with Neo. It's going to have to be a patient trade for you. That's pretty much all there is to it. Now, someone mentioned that Ripple was popping. 46%. What's Ripple doing up here? Let's go to the minute chart on Ripple. Oh, green candles, and now we're coming in a little bit. So this isn't too bad if you guys... Now, someone in here mentioned, looks like Mars mentioned Litecoin is so overbought on the RSI and the MACD in the 1 hour time frame. Hard to believe the bull run isn't over. Well, you know, it's not over until it's over. That's all I have to say about that. But when you're looking at the charts, the price action will always precede the RSI and the MACD and all those secondary indicators. The price action is really what pays the bills. The RSI and the MACD, those are lagging indicators. Any indicator is lagging. It's just kind of the nature of the beast of an indicator, okay? It's just going to lag. So while it doesn't look over, and at this point it doesn't appear to be over, you know, at some point we could get a big crack that takes us all the way down, maybe to this 100 line in the 15 minute. We can see, yeah, if we go to the 2 hour, I was noticing the 100 was being, maybe it's the minute chart. Yeah, right here, the 100 was kind of being hugged during the run up. So anyway, yeah, it's not over until it's over. And if you're involved with Litecoin, there's really no reason to get out of it if you're in for kind of a longer term trade. If you're in just for trading, you don't want to anticipate the move. You want to let the move come to you. Okay, you pretty much want to let the move come to you. Hold on. There we go. So you can kind of draw that trend line there. Maybe you can draw this. There's a couple trend lines you can have over here. But the point of the matter is that the Litecoin move really doesn't appear over. You have this very nice bottoming bar here, which was in a very good volume. We've since had this nice 1 minute volume bar right there. Okay, that's a bit of a topping bar. It's a bit of a topping bar, but volume's quieted. And look, we're still right within the range of that bar. So you're seeing a little bit of selling here and there. They're just kind of selling 1, 2, 3 a little bit, but you know, you can't let that really discourage you. If you're looking to get in over this trend line or any kind of good volume pop, but you're gonna want to wait for levels to be broken. XRP up 51% now. Man, let's take a look at Ethereum. Actually, I have Ethereum up here on my Coinigi charts. If you guys don't have Coinigi, they have pretty good charts. It looks a little bit better than TradingView, to be honest with you. And I do like the fact they have alerts, so if you subscribe to their service, you can set alerts, which I do quite often. So you want to set alert if it goes up above here, you click that alert. You know, Coinigi is pretty good stuff. I actually have a link to them in my description if you guys are interested in checking them out. Yeah, there has been some rumors about Ripple being on GDAX, so that could be something causing Ripple to pop up. Bitcoin Cash. Just talk about Bitcoin Cash going on to onto GDAX as well. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens there. All these rumors, some of them are meant to pump up prices. Some of them are going to be legit. Only time will tell. So Bitcoin pumping here still as well. We held that 16,000 level in Bitcoin, and right here we came down from the lows here from 13.6. We popped up, and I'm looking at GDAX, everyone, by the way. Came up to 16,000 is a level of resistance. Then we've since broken through that and really haven't looked back. We're up at 17.7. We're just floating up, respecting this trend line. Okay, respecting this trend line. We have some. I'm on the 15-minute here. If you go to the hourly, I think we've already closed above closing highs. So here's the hourly. So there's your last closing high. So we've already closed above the hourly all-time closing high on Bitcoin. So this thing definitely could drift up and maybe go a little sideways. If this doesn't get too froggy, if this doesn't start spiking, then we could still have moves in Ethereum and Litecoin left to be had. So OMG, you know, OMG was looking really good earlier when I looked at it. 10-1 has dropped a little bit. Let's take it out to the 2-hour chart, gain a little bit of perspective. Yeah, so Misa goes all-time high up here towards $14, over $13, and we've already had a big spike up towards $11.50. That's pretty amazing for a Misa go. That's pretty good. Pretty good. The bad news is there's a lot of selling on that candle. This is a huge volume bar, and not saying that is the top in Omise Go, but it's going to put in a top for the time being. You just kind of have to wonder what's going on there. Substratum. So can't get them there. Let's check on Coinigi. Yeah, another good thing with Coinigi is you can get Binance charts. That's always good. And it's against Bitcoin, so it's going to look like garbage. Everything looks like garbage against Bitcoin. I could probably try CoinMarketCap. Let's do this real quick. Yeah, we'll talk about CoinMarketCap in a little bit here. We'll go through some of these coins and the runs that they've had. You know, there've been a few coins that, man, just put it to you this way, guys. We are the second coming of the bull market this year, okay? Just the second coming. All right, price to US dollar, market cap. All right, so price to US dollar on Substratum looking pretty good. A bit of a rounding over top here. Not a good pattern generally, but it is kind of a base on base situation. You have a trend line right here. On that Bitcoin chart though, on the Bitcoin chart, you're aiming lower. I mean, there's just a lot of red candles here. You know, and I know that a lot of that is due to the fact Bitcoin is going up, but if you're going to spend Bitcoin to get Substratum, you don't want to be involved in charts that are pointing downward. You want your Bitcoin to work for you, not against you. Not against you. Okay. So yeah, going back to CoinMarketCap, 1,345 currencies. Market cap is 500 billion. Don't get mad at me because it's not exactly 500 billion. I'm not going to play that game with you guys, but Yeah, Bitcoin market cap almost 300 billion, Ethereum 60 billion, Litecoin Cash 27, Litecoin up at 17, up 214% in 7 days. 24 hours up 57%. Ripple as well, as we know, Ripple's in the middle of this move. There is, and here's another thing I wanted to show you guys. This is the Google Trends Bitcoin chart. Look at this thing. So if you're not familiar with the Bitcoin Trends chart, you can actually basically predict currency movements based on this chart. And what's really interesting is if you look at Bitcoin's chart up until really recently, up until this break here, I don't have this exact correlation charted, but the Bitcoin chart actually correlates really well to when the Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, when the Google Trends hits 100% interest level. And when it peaks, when it gets 100%, it peaks, and then it starts to drift down, Well, this pump recently, this is all Litecoin and Ethereum, mainly Litecoin, but you know, as the CME futures have come out, and we know about the CBOE futures coming out, everyone's really starting to know about Bitcoin, take it seriously. They're adopting it, they're purchasing it on Coinbase, and the only things they have to choose from on Coinbase are Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin. So if you're looking at $17,000 Bitcoin or $100 Litecoin or now $300 Litecoin, you know, what are you going to choose? Well, there's a lot of people that are only going to put $100 into this, and those people would rather get a full Litecoin or would have gotten a full Litecoin, you know, yesterday or 2 days ago. So other than that, you know, they're going to go in these smaller coins, which is going to pump them up pretty good. All right, guys, hold on a second. I actually have a kiddo in the other room, needs my attention. Be right back. All right, guys, sorry about that. I'm back. Sitting at home today. Kiddo is sick, and I am watching the kiddo. So, all right. You know, watching Litecoin kind of come down here a little bit. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Still sitting up here towards the highs. So keep in mind, Litecoin has had a run. So let's go ahead and chart this run in Litecoin. I mean, it's pretty spectacular. I mean, when you think about this, and again, you know, someone talked about the RSI and the MACD being very extended on Litecoin. Well, when you're having historic runs, the normal technical analysis isn't really going to work for you. You really have to understand the price and the volume action and how it all correlates, okay? So something a little interesting here is that this is the 15-minute on Litecoin. Let me go to my other chart here and point this out to you. Let's go to the daily on Litecoin. So here's the daily, all right? I mean, this is insane, but look at that volume. Look at that volume, right? So look at this. You have this nice cup over here with Litecoin. It peaked at 100 over here back in September, and now we came back to 100 just a few days ago, and then we went sideways for a little bit, then we popped up. If we go here in Litecoin, look at this. We have the same cup with handle. Look at that. And then boom, we pop up. Pretty interesting. Charts repeat themselves. Okay, so you know, what's it going to do up here? I mean, no one knows for sure, but there is some selling in here, obviously. The volume is pretty negligible. There's not a lot of selling. You have a lot of people just hodling all of these altcoins. All right, someone's mentioning Bitcoin Cash. Let's take a look at Bitcoin Cash, up 9%. Still living beneath, or starting to try to poke out from this trend line I've drawn here. Yeah, starting to, had a nice volume pop there. And looks like it's retesting the breakout. So it's retesting the breakout. If this comes back down into this base here, that can end up being kind of weird. Otherwise, could be in for a good run here. You have this trend line right there. If you want to make that a stopping point for you, that could be a trade. You also have a few levels right here to contend with at the 1600, a bit of a high here at the 1500. So yeah, not looking too bad. You have to respect the price action. If this pulls back into the base, okay, just understand that you could be holding through a drawback down to 1200. If you're going to put a stop in somewhere, I would actually put my stop on this trend line. But you can always keep an eye on it. You can always get back in, and that's trading, right? You get back in. And what do we have? All right, so Bitcoin is 17.8. Let's say someone mentioned Monaco. Let's take a look at Monaco coin. If you guys don't know about Diamond, I'm not sure if Canis is here, buddy, but this is, I believe that was you that loved Diamond. We were talking about Diamond when? I think right here, down in the 5s. Now it's at 16, 300% a few months later. Not too bad in Diamond coin. This one's going to go higher and higher, too. This is, they call themselves a wealth storage coin, and they most definitely are proving to be that type of a coin. Very, very low volatility, comparatively in crypto. EOS, someone mentioned EOS and IOTA. We'll do IOTA again. Did IOTA earlier, but what IOTA did is it's been living in this triangle. Living here in this triangle, tried to pop out, and then some news came out. Not sure if it's FUD news or what, but it was news that IOTA actually responded to as well. That Microsoft is not necessarily a partner with IOTA, although IOTA is using Microsoft infrastructure for their Tangle blockchain. I'm sorry, excuse me, not their Tangle blockchain, but for their testing of their IoT infrastructure. But yeah, so it pulled back into the triangle, kind of on this news. And if you look at that nice volume right there, that nice red volume, that could put in a nice bottoming candle. So still not mad at the IOTA chart here. It's holding above this level. If you're in this trade, you are going to have a natural stop kind of here at the 440 level if you want to play it in that way. Now another one that's kind of ran up huge a couple of weeks ago, right now is kind of floundering, is ADA. You guys don't want to lose track of these coins that were prior runners, because they will run again. A recent example is IOP. And it depends the kind of trader you are, what your strategy is. I don't think it's running right now. There it is, IOP. But IOP, let's do it against the dollar. IOP had a huge pump. Down here from this 50-cent level all the way up to $5, right? Did it almost again. Kind of came down, consolidated very quietly, and then went from 250 all the way up towards 750. So you can't forget about these coins. You can't forget about the coins, because they will bring it back. All right, someone mentioned Waves. I have not looked at Waves. I looked at them this morning. Let's take a look. We'll do MCO next. So looking at Waves, Waves has been stuck in this really long downward consolidation, and you're getting a nice bottom here, a higher low, and now a higher high. So it looks like the tide may have turned in Waves. Haha, pun not really intended, but the tide may have turned here in Waves. We'll just kind of have to see. I don't know if I would get involved at this point in time. You need to give it a little bit of room to consolidate before you consider an entry. This could have been a good entry right around here, around this 66,000 level. You're up at 83 right now. Volume is excellent, and the volume's been increasing ever since this bottom was put in. This is something you want to see in a bottom. This is what is called a change in behavior. This is what's called a change in behavior. So when the coin goes from crappy to not crappy, that's pretty good. Now you're just waiting for it to really, really jump out. So we'll have to wait and see here, but I mean, this thing could have some legs. Doesn't look too bad. This thing could have some legs. You have a level of resistance. I've had these trend lines drawn for a long time in Waves. Looking at it over here as it started going sideways, but then it just failed horribly. And yeah, haven't looked at it in a while, but it's looking really good here. Looking really good. I said we do MCO. Let's do MCO. 18% today. It's been a pretty big winner recently. It's had a couple of moves. Looks like it's trying to sustain that move. All right, come on, zoom in. I'm on the 4 hour. Let's go to the 2 hour. Nice curling action here. Nice curling action here. It looks like so far it's failed at this $19 high. Doesn't mean it's not going to surpass it, but it is, you know, just failed so far. We'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens with MCO, with Monaco. Good volume. Volume staying elevated here. Volume staying elevated. Strata, what's up, buddy? Want to see the Ripple run? Let's watch some Ripple run. 51%. Let's go down to the 1 minute chart. Oh, looks like we got a double top there on the 15 minute. It's those two tops right there at 38 cents. New ATH, new all-time high. Sorry, I thought that was a coin symbol for a second. Vlad wants to look at ARK. Let's look at ARK. Vlad gets what he wants to. So does Strata. So look at ARK on the 2-hour chart. See what's going on here. We'll go back to Ripple. Ripple, the coin pumping today. I got all my money in GDAX right now, so I really can't do much outside of the big three. So yeah, ARK not doing too bad. Just curling up here. Curling up here. And then what I don't like about ARK is that it pulled back so deep. You know, in a base like this, you really would like to see it just hang up here, maybe above the $4 level, but it came all the way back down to $3. I mean, just kind of really holding that. It held that support line, which is good. This would have been a great place to re-enter, but yeah, not my, not a chart that I would necessarily be involved with. Einsteinium. Einsteinium is a coin that just had a huge pump. I missed all of this. And this is what you guys have to realize with a huge run like this, that you've already seen 1, 2, and then a huge run up, and then you start to see a very deep pullback. When you see patterns like this, these coins are usually not going to come back, and if they do, it's not going to be right away. Okay, and what I mean by coming back, not that it's done forever, but it's not going to pump you in the next day or two. It's going to take time for this move to run off. Keep in mind, from its initial breakout, 3,600% in Einsteinium. That's a huge, huge breakout for basically a month. 3,600%. I mean, that's just fantastic. That's fantastic. But yeah, I didn't catch any of this. If I would, this isn't really one I was even following. If I would have seen either of these bases, I would have been trading this, because these, and this is one of the places where technicals will treat you better than fundamentals, because let's go ahead and do this on an auto scale so it kind of looks like real time. This thing's jumping up, right? So this kind of looks like garbage. This doesn't look very good. Okay, and it puts in this nice little base here. This is nice and constructive. Look at the volume pattern. Pops up really big, lots of green. Comes down, gets very quiet, but we're staying really high in this base. Really high in this base. This would have been a great entry point here. This would have been another great entry point. If we keep going, then you have, there we go. Then you have kind of this little secondary base, then a huge pump. And then you have this sideways base. This kind of looks like the last one, right? And then boom, and then we go really horizontal right there. That's where you go really horizontal. But all of these held in the upper part of their range, right? That's the main key here, is they're being sustained, they're being held up. So that's really good. SafeX. Yeah, SafeX had a huge pump last week as well, but we've given it all back. These coins that give it all back, they sometimes can come back. You've seen that a couple of times. Actually, IOP just did that. Came up, came all the way down, then came all the way back up. If you want to trade this very actively, be very active in these coins, but you can get hurt. You can get hurt really, really, really easily in these coins, so take small positions. Small positions. Anthony says, quick question. Why do you choose to chart everything against the dollar? Doesn't it make sense to chart against Bitcoin unless the coin has a dollar market like Litecoin on Coinbase? The reason that I chart everything on the dollar, let's go to Lisk, because Lisk I have here on US dollar and on Bitcoin. So there's two ways to think about trading cryptocurrencies. Neither is right, neither is wrong. You can trade it to gain money, or you can trade it to gain Bitcoin. All right? Money or Bitcoin, money or Bitcoin, your choice. For me, I typically spend US dollars. Okay? I typically spend US dollars. That's how I transact my life. So I really do everything in US dollars. You can also do everything against, well, you can't do everything against Bitcoin, but you can also trade against Bitcoin. If you trade against Bitcoin, what you have to understand is that your chart's going to look like crap. Okay? The charts look horrible on Bitcoin because when Bitcoin rallies, it just destroys all the other charts. Now, in the end, I would think that a lot of us would want to own more Bitcoin, right? You want to own more Bitcoin, but if Bitcoin is going sideways, why wouldn't you go and make money in the US dollar? You know, why wouldn't you do that? But the reason I chart in the US dollar is this reason. So here's the Lisk Bitcoin chart. Sorry, that's kind of a long answer for a short question. This looks like Lisk is just failing. Okay, this looks like Lisk is just failing. But against the dollar, it's a completely different chart. It's a completely different chart, okay? Now look, if all you're doing is trading against Bitcoin, then yes, use the Bitcoin chart. If that's all you're doing, if you're going Bitcoin or alts, then yes, go ahead and do this by all means. But if you want the feel for what the actual coin is doing, you can use the US dollar chart. Now, if you have something that's like when Lisk during this run is completely outperforming Bitcoin, I don't remember if that was due a Bitcoin pop or a drop or what, but you know, then yeah, you can go ahead into alts, and when it's done, go get more Bitcoin. That's perfectly viable strategy. But I just like to know, I just like the floors in the US dollar. You're trading against a stable surface versus Bitcoin. You're trading against, you're trying to reference something that is moving. So AJ says there's 20 coins on the top 100 that outperformed Bitcoin this year. So those were the only ones investing in outside of Bitcoin. So that's a good point. The problem is that it's so hard to know what's going to outperform Bitcoin or that Bitcoin's going to outperform. It's a gamble. You know, this, look, you gamble every day with your money in these markets, and that's just another gamble, right? That's just another gamble. But look, holding Bitcoin has not been a losing proposition by any stretch of the imagination. It has not been a losing proposition. So if all you want to do is hodl Bitcoin, man, that's fine with me. I don't believe in that strategy personally. I have a hard time holding anything because I come from the stock market where, look, by the time you crap 20%, that coin has or that stock has a possibility of just being done. But Bitcoin is not that way. You know, this is still early in these markets, and you know, look, Bitcoin went from 5,000 earlier. We were talking about 5,000. Now it's 17,000. We were talking about Ethereum at 300. Now it's 600. Litecoin at $40 a month or so ago. Now it's $350. I mean, so you can just take a look at Litecoin versus Bitcoin. I guess we can probably do that pretty easy with a Litecoin Bitcoin chart. You know, looking at it on the daily here. So, you know, Litecoin versus Bitcoin. If you were to buy it over here, I mean, it came into all-time highs over Bitcoin. So your overall gain versus Bitcoin, you would have been better being in Litecoin. But that's only through certain points and certain points in time, I guess. So just depends on your strategy. Just depends on your strategy. But yeah, I mean, if you were to move around the coins here and there, I mean, look, I've done really well over the past week by not hodling Bitcoin, but I would have been better hodling Bitcoin prior to this week. You know what I mean? So it's all about market timing, and it's really hard to know when the alts are going to move versus when Bitcoin's going to move. Speaking of which, Bitcoin's moving a little bit right now, sitting at 17.8, So, you know, we'll see, is Ethereum going to drop here? Is Litecoin going to drop here? Is Litecoin and Ethereum going to lead Bitcoin higher or vice versa? Really hard to tell. Really hard to tell. So, you know, maybe a core strategy you could have is hold a core position in Bitcoin and then you know, trade around the rest with the alts. You know, 50% Bitcoin, 25% Bitcoin, you know, whatever your risk tolerance level is, and then go from there. But keep in mind one thing too, as Bitcoin gets pricier and pricier, if you're new to this market and aren't hodling Bitcoin from a lower price point, your gains, if you're buying now, you're going to have to get to $35,000 for this to be 100% gain for you. Where in Litecoin we've already seen a 300% gain in like 4 days, 2, 3, 4 days. You know, Ethereum we've seen a 100% gain, although I think Bitcoin's outperformed Ethereum, that's for sure. But yeah, there you go, guys. All right, thanks for hanging out with me for the live stream. I'm gonna call it a day. If you guys want to get your last minute questions, then I'll be happy to look at a couple more charts. But I'm gonna bounce. So thanks for joining. I appreciate it. I don't do these as often as I should. Maybe I'll do a few more in the future since I have some free time. Yeah, waves up 100% over 7 days, you know. Decentraland up 300%. Yeah, I'm going to look at a few of these while you guys get your last minute questions in if you have any. SuperNet up 100%. All right, no questions, guys. Thank you very much for joining. I will see you guys in the chat room and talk to you later. Bye-bye.